Hi everyone, this is Just a Mom. Why are you laughing at me?
There you've started, Paul. It's like you're starting a sermon. You're in church.
That is
Hello and good evening.
George, that is how I talk to people.
Okay.
Hi everyone, this is Just a Mom. And with me is George Kagwe. And this is the
Who am I to you? Maybe guys don't know.
this is my husband. We've been married for 7 years.
Madam.
Oh my gosh, people know. Anyway, yes, this is George Kagwe, my husband, and we are continuing the conversation on the truth about marriage. We started part 1 talking about spirituality. Go check it out as we continue this conversation. So today we're supposed to be talking about communication stroke fighting.
Supposed to be, or are we talking?
We are talking about communication stroke fighting.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to add fighting there so that I remember. That is, how has it been? What's the difference
Fighting
between
or disagreements?
fighting? You like fighting.
Because the makeup is good.
Trust. Anywho, yes, 1 year versus 7 years. What's the difference between how we communicate then and how we communicate now? You go
I
first.
think the first years of marriage was pretentious. So you always tell me to go first, then when I talk, you tell me I talk too much. Si ubaya mimi Mungu alinipatia words mingi na the gift of the gab. Sindio?
Go ahead.
Umehorerato. Anyway, so I feel like the first year was pretentious. The first year was
Pretentious.
like-
Explain.
I mean, we were friends, but kuna vitu, there are things we've gone through that now we don't pretend when communicating. You say what you need to say, and you mean what you say.
No
holding
holding
back. You say it.
Boxing gloves off.
Ai, unasema
Yeah.
kusema. Kama itakutwanga mali mbaya, wewe sema imekutwanga mali mbaya, ukach feelings venye utakach. But that's what I mean. You know, in the beginning it was like walking on eggshells.
Because again, we were following what we were taught.
Yeah, so you're
Marital
following
counseling.
your Hi mama, this is Taji Wangare Kagwe. She's our offspring. Yes.
You think?
Yeah, so why are you sighing? So anyway, so it was, I felt like we were walking on eggshells, and it was more so like exactly what we had heard from people, or even what we were told to do, or we were told there are different stages and stuff like that.
Don't go to bed angry.
Yeah. You
Don't
know,
say you always.
Now life is
don't-
life, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like I felt it reached a point where we were not human. You're like living in a bubble, and when you live in that bubble for so long, it becomes kind of toxic. Where now I'm not letting her live and be herself, because there's a way when she's angry she'll talk stomping off, throwing hands. You know how women are.
Or I
You get?
withdraw and not
Yeah.
talk at all.
No. That's what you used to do in the beginning, and that's what I felt was pretentious. So that's what I felt was pretentious, because babe, you, when you're angry, you like expressing you're angry. Yes, it's only that what you've been taught in life has made you to suppress your anger. But if you look at when you express your anger, you exhale, you become better, you even start laughing at yourself, because now you realize, I was
that was
angry.
stupid. Yeah.
Exactly. So I feel like we were not letting each other be who we are. We were living in this bubble, we were living in this pretentious habitat where we have to walk on eggshells, or I have to talk to you this way. Even if I'm angry, I have to express myself in this way. If you're angry, you have to come and express yourself in this way. I'm like, it got to a point where I think we sat down together and I was like,
We actually never sat because I think it's just been a natural progression.
no, we
in
sat.
sons.
I remember. And this was like after when Taji was born. I was like, we have to let each other be human beings. and human beings
I don't remember that conversation.
human beings with the character that you have and the personality that you have. So if you don't feel like talking about it today, you tell me. But me, if I feel like talking, let me talk. Listen, we're not waiting till tomorrow. Naongea sahi, mimi naongea sasa hivi. You get? So I feel like that's for disagreements, that's for fights. So and that got, because we'll talk about communication and in broader terms or in
I
depth.
thought that's what you're talking about now.
This is disagreement. Me, I'm just saying about disagreements. I felt like it was pretentious because it felt like if you're angry with somebody, you have to come. Oh, naomba nikwambie mimi nimekasirika na wewe. You know, I beg you, please let me tell you why I'm mad at you. I'm like, that's not how we talk. That's not how human beings are. That's not how probably we grew up. Each of us, we all grew up in our own ways. We grew up with different beliefs, being suppressed with certain things. But then in this space of marriage, I felt like it needs to feel like freedom. It needs to feel like freedom in the sense that I need to accept you the way you are. You need to accept me the way I am, with my wrongdoings and shortcomings, and also with the right things that I have. And in the disagreements is when you see the realness of someone. If someone has rage, if someone is abusive in terms of verbal, not physically, you know, what kind of a person is my wife when she's upset? Does she grab the first thing she gets and throws it? Because those are real things that happen when people are mad. Okay? So, and then from there, now once I've seen who she is, then we find now ways of how to be able to. What's wrong, Mama? Sorry. You bit your tongue.
Chew slowly, sweetie.
It's painful. You felt too tamu.
Kata looking at you.
Anyway, so not to deviate from that, but you know, we're parents first. But so once we establish now how a person is, especially in disagreements, is when now we find ways of how can I help you to be able to cope with that better, and then you now work towards that and to that regard. That's for us guys. I'm not saying that's how generally it happens in your marriage. I don't know about it, but you know, you can talk about it and see how that works.
Yeah, let me now go in terms of disagreements. So I don't know where I got this unhealthy thought process or whatever it is, that every time we'd fight in the first year of marriage, I would be like, I think I just never understood that fighting is okay. I think there's a perception that if you fight with somebody a lot, it's not a healthy relationship. It's not. I am of the thinking that that's not necessarily the truth, because disagreeing is a disagreement. It just means we are of different opinions, and fighting or disagreeing or having that conversation, and ours are, but they are not conversations. They are like serious discussions. And in talking, like he said, that's when now you get to know each other.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, that's how you think, that's how I think. Okay, so now how can we reach a common ground? So in the beginning I used to think, bas, by the way, our marriage is over, we're not going to make it. Oh my God, I'm going to leave. I remember in the beginning how many times I would like want leaving, pack my bags and think, by the way, I'm going to my mother. I did not sign up for this. I did not sign up for this.
Yake. Hata mimi niko na mama yangu. Twende.
And as you grow older, and as you know, as the marriage progresses, I look back at that girl and I laugh at her, because at the end of the day, yes, you'll run away from this fight, but imagine there's no relationship that is easy. Whether you run away from this stage of growth, you will still really, Taji. Don't kick the tripod. Anyway, yes, so in the beginning I would run, and part of the growth process that has happened now up to our 7th year of marriage is I'm like, okay, now we're having a fight, we are disagreeing, game on, now let's engage, and we have a fight, to talk, and we move on. And it's such an amazing place to be, because now I'm not like, oh my God, my marriage is going to end. We are not even friends. Oh my God, it's so unhealthy. This is such an I want to marry. I mean that illusion in your mind is a fairy tale. I don't think I would really love to hear from you by the in the comments. If you guys have never fought after being married for a couple of years, I would really love to hear from you, because hey, you guys are special. 'Cause I feel like that perception that having disagreements is unhealthy. Yeah, I feel like maybe the unhealthiness comes from how you handle those situations or those disagreements.
Yeah.
But the fact that we agree and we've moved to the next stage is a part of the growth.
And do you have a
So-
conducive environment for? You see, like, it's just like, I mean,
Yeah.
guys, most of the guys are in a business, or they run a business, or in corporate world.
Yeah.
Like, you have policies, you have crisis management.
True.
Right? Because you cannot avoid a crisis.
Yeah.
You can never avoid a crisis. Crises happen. The world has gone through a crisis right now with this whole COVID-19 gadget, right? But it's how you manage that crisis. If we all run to the hills with our hands up, crisis, you know, is that a good way of managing that? So, do you have a conducive environment where, and that's why I say, do you allow yourselves,
Bye.
Taji, Mama and Papa are here talking. You can do your cartoons. So, yeah, and that's why I said you have to allow each other to be human beings. Like, you're not angels. You're not angels at you know everything, and everything will be hunky dory. It will be, sunflower gardens and everything like that. But you have to allow yourselves to be at the space where you'll be able to
Yes.
be human. And by being human is you'll do wrong. Okay, you will do wrong. And let me even explain this. Like, Karemi and I have sat down. We've sat down and are like, first of all, you have to understand we are human beings, to the point of where now we are at a place in our relationship where if Karemi sees a hot guy, she'll even tell me. She'll be like, hey babe,
I even send you photos of what.
exactly, like, check you let them. You get?
Yeah.
Because, like,
You're human.
I'm human.
In fact, if you keep it hidden,
Yeah,
that's where now
It manifests and
and now the
grows
thoughts
and
start.
percolates.
Yeah, but now when we laugh about it and
Exactly.
we look at and we move
Even in
on.
traffic, if I see a
Yeah.
chile, I'll be like, damn babe, check you let them.
And
Hey,
I'm
ule
like-
aliumbwa ule. Ule aliumbwa asubuhi ule. Unaona?
Oh, but there's something I wanted to say before you move on. If I lose my train of thought, I'll forget.
Wangare?
Wow, Taji. Hey.
Wangare?
Yeah, it's serious when he called her by her second name. I wanted to say, oh yes, like he was talking about the difference in our personalities. If we have just had a disagreement and I'm still upset, even when he apologizes, and I'm not ready to accept the apology, I love the fact that he respects that, because I tell him categorically, I've had your apology. I'm still in my feelings right now. I need to sit in my feelings for a bit, work through them. We shall be friends later. And he's understood that that's just my way of processing.
Watu wa my feelings.
Yeah, and I love the fact that he respects that, because if he didn't respect that, that's when a resentment happens. Like, do not force me to accept the way you process fights or disagreements. I process them differently. If I need to sit in my feelings and comb through them, please allow me to go through that. And I wanted to make that point because I feel it's important to respect the different personalities, even when you're fighting or having disagreements. His process is, let's fight now, let's deal now, let's move on. I'm not ready. He'll have to wait. And I believe that's where his growth happens, and that's where my growth happens, when sometimes he just needs to talk about it. Yes, I'll listen. I might not fully engage, but at least I'll give him that space as well. So, yeah, I wanted to make that's an important point.
Yeah. And, I mean, that's perfect because it segs also into, again, 7 years after we have a child. So, with a child, it's the same kind of environment that you know. So I get those people who say, oh, don't fight in front of your kids, or.
Yeah.
But us guys have, like, we are very...
You
what
feel
is
like
it
it's
called?
healthy for her to understand that people
Yeah,
who love each
intentional.
other sometimes
Yes,
disagree.
yes.
And it's okay.
Because
Yeah.
she'll go play with her friend
Yeah.
and they'll disagree. And she'll come back crying, and we tell her, hey, it's part of life.
Go deal.
Go deal.
Yeah.
Go
Like, go
find a
talk
way
and
of
make
how
it
you'll
right.
you'll make it right with
Yeah.
the person.
Yeah.
If you're the one on the wrong, apologize. If they accept your apology, perfect. If they don't, if they want space for 2 days, respect that and come back
Exactly.
to your digs. And also you think about your life.
Those are
Be
life
like, okay, what
lessons,
did I
yeah.
do wrong?
Yeah.
Process yourself. You know.
Because
We
when she
try
sees
and-
us fighting, I'll sit her
Yeah.
down and tell her, hey, me and your dad love each other, but sometimes we don't agree.
Yeah.
And it's okay. You'll see us, maybe that day she's had us shouting and she'll get upset a bit, but we also realize that it's important for us to create a safe environment for her. And creating a safe environment is having that conversation and telling her, it's okay. We're not leaving. Their safe environment still exists. But also understand that sometimes mom and dad just have, fights. But we still love each other and we're still your mom and dad.
And that's
not
the
gonna
processing.
change. So nowadays she doesn't phase her. She'll just look and move on with whatever she's doing. And yeah.
Then we'll still, and again, it's what you do during and after.
True.
So
And she
it's-
sees her saying sorry.
Exactly.
To each
And
other. Yeah.
probably this is not how you do your whole gadget, your
Yeah.
marriage, and which is fine. We respect that, but this is how we do ours. So it's how even you do after. So later on, if she's witnessed that whole,
Exactly.
she has to witness now the reconciliation.
exactly.
So she has to witness us guys hugging, just reconciling,
Yeah.
bringing her in and telling her, hey, mama and papa are just having a heated argument, blah, blah, blah. This, it happens in life. Just the way you disagree with your friends outside, you guys run the opposite direction crying. So you just have to contextualize it for them,
Yeah.
for them also to understand that. Because men, I've met people who were raised in that environment where they didn't witness fights and conflicts.
So when they happen.
Like when
yeah.
conflicts happen, those guys,
they can't
it's
deal.
the end of the world.
True.
Like they can't deal, they can't process that emotion of the fact that they've been rejected or someone did not like what they did. And that's not a good, it's not a good environment and ecosystem to be in. If you ask me personally, you get, your mind is not in a good space in that. So you have to create those spaces.
Yeah.
And it's not a tip pop, you just bring your child inside. Of course it's gradual. And so it's just how us guys are in the house.
Yeah.
As guys are open, we're free, we talk, we let people, she expresses, if we hurt her feelings, she says, hey, I hurt your feelings, and we apologize because it's valid, she felt
Exactly.
hurt.
Yeah.
And this video is just disagreements. We've not talked about communication.
But then I thought they were combined.
How? Communication
Because
is
how
in
you talk
various
to
ways.
each other.
Yeah, but we've just talked about disagreements.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
But anyway, we can do communication in the next video.
Okay. Good idea. So yeah, thank you. The words refuse to leave my mouth. Thank you
Was
so
that?
I
Sounded
don't-
like a cuckoo or a duck. Baby! Back.
Okay.
Abdi.
Looking at you later, she does. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave comments, and would really love to hear about how you guys fight. I mean, if you're married or in a relationship, how do you handle disagreements, so that we can continue having this conversation and learning from each other. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.
See you end.